Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the most scandalous and heartbreaking twists of your favorite daytime dramas. Today is a magnificent day to unpack the explosive secrets and shifting power dynamics that are tearing the Forrester and Logan families apart at the seams. Let us explore the magnificent betrayals unfolding right before our eyes. The illustrious halls of Forrester Creations have recently been transformed into a bitter battleground, but the true war is being waged within the fragile walls of the Forrester mansion. Eric Forrester, the esteemed patriarch and legendary designer, finds himself drowning in an ocean of heartbreak and profound betrayal. The revelation that his wife, Donna Logan Forrester, harbored the explosive secret of Hope Logan Spencer's defection to Katie's rival fashion house has shattered the foundation of their marriage. Eric's reaction was not merely one of anger. It was a cold, calculated excommunication. By publicly humiliating Donna, escorting her out of the executive suite, and retreating into an agonizing silence at home, Eric created a dangerous vacuum of power and emotional vulnerability. This devastating silence from Eric is a double-edged sword, bleeding him just as much as it tortures the exiled Donna. He sits alone in his palatial estate, a king betrayed by his queen, completely blinded by his own glaring hypocrisy. He conveniently forgets the times he demanded Donna's absolute silence regarding his own severe health crises, forcing her to lie to her own family to protect his pride. Now he views her loyalty to her sisters as an unforgivable treason. Eric's wounded ego requires a soothing balm, a desperate need for someone to look at him with unwavering devotion and validate his righteous indignation. He is a man starving for absolute loyalty, making him the perfect, unsuspecting prey for a predator who knows exactly how to hunt in the shadows of a broken heart. Enter Shauna Fulton, a woman who has always possessed an uncanny ability to read the shifting winds of fortune. Initially arriving in Los Angeles alongside her son, Wyatt Spencer, Shauna's stated goal was seemingly modest: to secure funding and a platform for her new jewelry line at Logan Creations. She pitched her vision to Katie and Bill Spencer, playing the role of an ambitious designer eager for a fresh start. However, Shauna's calculating eyes were always scanning the horizon for a grander prize. When she witnessed the catastrophic fallout of Hope's fashion show and the subsequent implosion of Eric and Donna's marriage, Shauna recognized an opportunity that transcended mere business. She did not just want a jewelry line at Logan, she wanted the ultimate crown. She wanted Donna's place beside Eric Forrester. Shauna's ambition is a terrifyingly beautiful force of nature. She understands that wealth and a temporary business contract pale in comparison to the generational power and untouchable status of being the Forrester matriarch. She looks at the Forrester mansion not just as a house, but as a fortress of absolute influence. Shauna meticulously observes Eric's emotional deterioration, studying his pain like a master tactician studying a battlefield. She knows that a direct, aggressive approach would trigger his defenses. Instead, she chooses the path of the empathetic confidant. She positions herself as a safe haven, a woman who has also experienced the bitter sting of betrayal and understands the agonizing loneliness that comes when the people you trust the most stab you in the back. The execution of Shauna's seduction is a masterclass in psychological manipulation. She does not initially approach Eric with overt romantic advances or blatant seduction. Instead, she casually orchestrates accidental encounters, offering a gentle touch on the arm, a sympathetic gaze, and whispered words of profound understanding. She listens intently as Eric vents his frustrations about the Logans, nodding in solemn agreement while subtly stoking the fires of his resentment. Shauna portrays herself as the only person in Los Angeles who truly comprehends the depth of his pain, carefully isolating him from any remaining voices of reason. She becomes his emotional crutch, the soothing voice in the dark that constantly reassures him that his anger is justified and his demands for loyalty are perfectly reasonable. In this high-stakes game of emotional chess, Shauna is not operating entirely without a safety net. Her son, Wyatt Spencer, provides a layer of implicit, silent support. While Wyatt is deeply entangled in Bill Spencer's ruthless corporate machinations and the frantic hunt for the hope for the future diamond, he is far too observant to miss his mother's calculated pivot toward the Forrester patriarch. Wyatt knows Shauna's history and her relentless drive for upward mobility. Rather than intervening or warning the Logans, Wyatt turns a blind eye, quietly clearing the path for her ascension. He understands that having his mother entrenched as the new powerhouse at Forrester Creations could provide an invaluable strategic advantage for the Spencer family in their ongoing war for industry dominance. As Shauna's emotional holdover Eric tightens, her influence begins to seep into the professional realm of Forrester Creations. She transitions from offering personal comfort to whispering toxic advice regarding the company's internal structure. With Eric's trust firmly secured, Shauna subtly points out the inherent dangers of keeping Logan loyalists within the building. She paints a picture of a company infested with corporate spies, subtly manipulating Eric into believing that anyone with ties to Katie or Brooke is a potential threat to his legacy. Under the guise of protecting his empire, Shauna begins to orchestrate a systematic purge of the staff, advising Eric on crucial human resources decisions and ensuring that only those who swear absolute fealty to the Forrester name, and by extension to her, remain employed. Eric, completely blinded by his heartbreak and Shauna's intoxicating validation, executes these ruthless personnel changes without a second thought. Longtime employees who have shown any sympathy toward Donna or Hope find themselves abruptly terminated or reassigned to dead-end departments. The executive suites of Forrester Creations are effectively cleansed of Logan influence, replaced by a chilling atmosphere of paranoia and strict obedience. Shauna stands quietly in the background during these corporate massacres, her supportive smile masking the triumphant gleam in her eyes. She is not just seducing a man, she is systematically dismantling an entire familial infrastructure, reshaping the company to serve her own ambitious agenda while Eric remains convinced that he is merely protecting his family's honor. Meanwhile, Donna Logan Forrester sits in agonizing exile, completely oblivious to the venomous snake coiling around her husband. She has spent her days weeping, desperately hoping that Eric's silence is merely a temporary phase of his grieving process. She clings to the naive belief that their decades of shared history, their surviving of severe health crises, and their deep, abiding love will eventually bridge this terrible chasm. Donna waits for the phone to ring, waits for a summons back to the mansion, believing that her apologies and explanations will finally be heard. But as the days turn into weeks, and the news of the corporate purge at Forrester Creations reaches her ears, a cold, terrifying realization begins to settle in her stomach. The silence from Eric is not a pause, it is a permanent erasure. When Donna finally pieces together the horrifying truth, the devastation is absolute. She discovers that her old friend, Shauna Fulton, the woman she once welcomed and trusted, has not just stabbed her in the back, she has entirely usurped her existence. The betrayal cuts deeper than any corporate espionage or fashion world rivalry. Shauna has stolen her husband, her home, and her rightful place in the Forrester legacy. Donna's desperate attempts to reach Eric are blocked, not by security, but by Shauna herself, who now acts as the undisputed gatekeeper to the Forrester patriarch. Donna realizes with crushing certainty that she has been outmaneuvered, outplayed, and completely replaced by a woman who recognized a fractured marriage and exploited it with lethal precision. It is a heartbreak from which Donna may never recover. The climax of this magnificent betrayal arrives when Shauna Fulton officially steps through the grand double doors of The Forrester mansion, no longer a temporary guest or a sympathetic friend, but the newly crowned queen of the estate. The visual shift is staggering. Shauna moves through the opulent living room with an air of undeniable ownership, her fingers tracing the expensive furniture, her presence filling the vast, echoing halls that Donna once called home. She has achieved the impossible, transforming herself from a Las Vegas opportunist into the most powerful woman in the Los Angeles fashion dynasty. Eric stands by her side, completely captivated by her unwavering devotion, entirely unaware that he has traded a genuinely flawed but loving wife for a master manipulator who views him as the ultimate prize. The shockwaves of Shauna's ascension reverberate violently through the Logan family. Brooke and Katie, already engaged in a bitter, emotionally exhausting war over Hope's defection to Logan Creations, are suddenly forced to confront a terrifying new reality. Their sister has been ruthlessly discarded, and their most dangerous, unpredictable rival is now sleeping in the master bedroom of the Forrester estate. Brooke, whose fury was previously directed entirely at Katie, must now redirect her volcanic rage toward the woman who has stolen her sister's life. The dynamics of the Forrester-Logan war have fundamentally shifted. It is no longer just a battle over fashion lines and corporate revenue. It is a deeply personal, blood-soaked vendetta for the very soul of the Forrester family. Shauna, however, is not intimidated by the impending wrath of the Logan sisters. As she stands by the fireplace in the Forrester living room, sipping her evening drink, a cold, victorious smile plays on her lips. She knows that Brooke will come for her. She knows that Katie will attempt to use Bill Spencer's power to tear her down, but Shauna is ready. She holds the ultimate trump card, Eric Forrester's absolute trust and affection. She has wrapped the patriarch so tightly around her finger that any attack from the Logans will only be perceived by Eric as an attack on his own happiness. Shauna has meticulously fortified her position, building an impenetrable wall of emotional manipulation around Eric that neither Brooke's tears nor Katie's logic can easily breach. This is the dawn of a dark, thrilling new era for this legendary fashion dynasty. Shauna Fulton has successfully executed one of the most brilliant, devastating coups in the history of the Forrester family. She has seamlessly transitioned from a supportive background player to the central antagonist of the Logan sisters' lives. Her willingness to exploit a broken man's pain, coupled with her ruthless manipulation of Forrester Creations' internal politics, proves that she is a force to be reckoned with. Donna is left to pick up the shattered pieces of her life, while Brooke and Katie must unite against a common, incredibly dangerous enemy. Shauna is no longer just fighting for a seat at the table. She has taken over the entire dining room, and she is ready to devour anyone who dares to challenge her reign. As the dust settles on Donna's tragic exile, the stage is set for a war of unprecedented proportions. Shauna Fulton's rise to power is a testament to the lethal combination of ambition, timing, and emotional manipulation. With Wyatt's silent backing and Eric's blind devotion, Shauna holds all the cards in this high-stakes game of love and power. The upcoming confrontations promise to be explosive as Brooke and Katie prepare to launch a massive counter-offensive to reclaim their family's honor. But Shauna is firmly entrenched, her roots digging deep into the Forrester soil. The battle lines have been redrawn, and the ultimate question remains: can the Logan sisters possibly unseat a woman who has already conquered the heart and mind of the Forrester king? The drama is only just beginning.